Welcome to NIOS Studio. In this video, we are going to cover the topic Economic Impact of British on India. As you know, we had covered the topic Coming of British into India as part 1 of chapter 5 in our previous video. Today we will take up the part 2 in the same series titled Economic Impact of British on India. As you are aware that the Industrial Revolution in Europe led to the birth of imperialism in the world. Since the newly industrialized countries needed raw materials as well as markets for their ready-made goods. For this reason, they established colonies in Asia and Africa. The East India Company was established in Britain in the year 1600. This was a trading company supported by the British government. Slowly, the EICO, the East India Company, became very successful in India. However, in England, the company was criticized for monopolizing trade with India. Learners, I think you are familiar with the term of trade monopoly. Well, this term is made from two words, trade and monopoly. The East India Company had the sole rights of trading or doing business in India. This was disliked by other British businessmen as they also wanted to benefit from trade with India. Finally, they were able to end the company's monopoly on Indian trade, and all the British businessmen could do business in India. Let us now study the impact of British policies on Indian economy. We will begin with the textile industry. Indian textiles like cotton, wool, silk, etc. had been famous all over the world since ancient times. There was great demand for Indian clothes in Europe also. However, with the Industrial Revolution, the situation changed as the machine-made clothes of Europe. These clothes were not only fine and superior in quality to the Indian handmade textile, but they were cheaper also. The British imposed high taxes on Indian goods in England, while the foreign goods entered Indian markets without paying any taxes. This automatically increased the price of the Indian goods and their demands decreased, while demands for foreign goods increased due to their low price. Gradually, India became the source of raw materials for British textile industry and market for its ready-made products. This led to a destruction of Indian textile industry. Native weavers became unemployed as many of them went to villages to work as farmers. We must note that the uneven competition that the Indian textile industry faced from the British was called deindustrialization by Indian leaders. Now, before moving forward, let us quickly understand a few economic terms. The first term we are going to understand is duty. What does this duty means? These are the taxes which are paid to the government on goods that are bought or sold. Similarly, there is another word that is tax. What does this word mean? This is a sum of money that is demanded by government for giving support to certain services and facilities. Taxes are imposed upon income, property, sale, etc. Another third word which we are going to understand now is tariff. Now, what does this mean? This is the official list that shows the duties imposed by a government on imports or export. So, learners, it would not be wrong to say that the main aim of British policy in India was to transform India from a producer to consumer of British goods. Not just the textile industry, but also many other industries like glass, paper, metal industries suffered on account of British economic policies. By the year 1813, the condition of Indian handicraft industry became so bad that the Indian handmade products could not compete with the machine-made foreign goods. Thus, from exporter, that is sending goods to foreign country for sale, India became an importer. Importer? What does this mean, importer? Importer means bringing goods from other countries for sale in our own country. This led to the process of drain of wealth. This theory was given by Dadabhai Naoroji in 1867. This meant that the wealth of India was not available to the Indians. Rather, it was sent to Britain. Thus, the British had drained India of its wealth. If that wealth would have been used for the benefit of Indians, it would have benefited the Indians. In the 18th century, majority of Indian population was dependent upon agriculture for its living. During the British rule in India, the land revenue kept increasing because of the following reason. The first reason is the British had come as traders to India and later became its rulers. They needed money to fight wars. Hence, the Indian people had to pay a huge amount of taxes to them. Money was needed for trade, running administration of a big country like India, and also completing new projects of the company like the construction of railways in India. All this needed a lot of money, and the British imposed heavy taxes on the farmers for these reasons. We will now try to know about the various land revenue policies and land settlements that were formed in India during the British rule. These were the permanent settlements like Mahalwari settlement and Ryotwari settlement. The then Governor General Lord Cornwallis introduced a new policy of land settlement called the permanent settlement in Bengal and Bihar in the year 1793. Under this policy, the zamindar was made the owner of the land in return of a fixed sum of money. The amount of tax or revenue on land to be paid to the British was fixed for a fixed period of time. In this system, the British were assured of a fixed sum of money as revenue. However, the peasants suffered because the zamindars forced them to produce more crops so that more revenue could be earned. And as the company was to get a fixed sum of money, the remaining was to go to the zamindar. Hence, both the British and zamindars benefited from this policy except the farmers. The zamindars became permanent friend of the English. In fact, they supported the British during the freedom movement. Another land settlement system was the Mahalwari system, which was introduced in Punjab and northwestern parts of India. Here, a mahal was fixed as a unit of revenue collection. Mahal? What does this mean, mahal? Mahal was a village or a group of villages and it was made for the revenue collection. Under this scheme, all the owners of the mahal were jointly responsible to pay the revenue on the land to the government. The Ryotwari was another system of land revenue settlement. This system was introduced in parts of Bombay and Madras during early 19th century. Here the land revenue was imposed directly on the ryots. Ryots means farmers. The farmers was recognized as the owner of land as long as he was able to pay the tax. However, the condition of farmers did not improve as the rate of land tax was very high. The British economic policies led to the commercialization of Indian agriculture. Commercialization of agriculture means the production of commercial crops like tea, coffee, opium, indigo, cotton, sugarcane, jute, etc. The British forced Indian cultivators to produce indigo, which was used for dyeing clothes in Britain. However, the land used to become infertile for a few years. After the cultivation of indigo, therefore, The farmers did not want to grow it. Similarly, in tea plantations or those big areas where tea is grown, the working conditions were not very good for laborers. Learners, let us now study that how the British economic policies changed the social structure of the Indian society. Increasing demands of taxes from the peasants by the British forced them to take loan from the moneylenders who gave loans. Those people charged very high rate of interest from the farmers. In fact, most of the cases the cultivators failed to pay the loan and their land passed into the hands of the money lenders. The British power in India gave birth to a new class of people called as middle class. This new class consisted of people who were between the upper and the lower class of society. The growth of English education in India created scope for this class as they acted as agents or middlemen between the ruling class and the common people of this country because of their knowledge of English education. The middle class included both the service class and landlords, like the zamindars. The biggest positive result of the British economic policies was the development of means of transportation. As in India, old methods of transportation were still used, like bullock cart, camel, horses, etc. While the British needed faster means of transportation to make transportation of goods and people easy and faster. This led to the construction of railways in India during the later part of the 19th century. The railway proved beneficial to the British in two ways, as it made the process of trade faster, and secondly, all the resources used to build railways in India, like coaches, engines, etc., came from Britain. In this way, her merchants made profit. Students, you will be surprised to know that those British merchants who invested in railways were given guarantee of earning at least 5% profit. However, we should not forget that the railway did not prove beneficial for the British only, but even for our own country too. The construction of railways shortened the distances, increased the contact among people, and increased the feeling of unity among them. People from Kashmir to Kanyakumari started feeling that they were part of one nation. All this created feeling of patriotism or nationalism, which finally led to the beginning of the freedom movement in the country. With this, we come to the close of this chapter. Now let us take a look at what we have learned in this video. First, we understood trade monopoly of the East India Company in India. Second, we discussed the ruins of industries in India due to the wrong British economic policies. Third, we discussed the revenue policies for the British, about permanent settlement like Mahalwari settlement and Ryotwari settlement. Fourth point, we discussed about the process of commercialization of Indian agriculture by the British. Fifth, we discussed about birth and growth of the railways in India. Sixth point, we discussed about the role of railways in unifying India. I hope you understood this video well. If you have any query, you can email us at signlanguage@nios.ac.in. For more information, you can see our website www.nios.ac.in. Thank you.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से,